Welcome. Glad to see you all for the first learning event and event for the 21-22 year. So thanks for being here and supporting and being a part of this. So I just wanted to let you guys know the next event we're going to have is September 23rd. It's a membership event. So spread the word. Make sure that everybody in the chapter and your forums know. That way they can attend. We also have Eccentric coming up in October through the 10th and 13th. So if you haven't signed up for that, there's still opportunity to sign up, and you may be able to get a discount on some of the ticket pricing. I know there's a lot of people that are potentially not going, and they're reselling their tickets to go, so might be a good opportunity for you to look into. But for tonight's event, we have Chad Kalecki here. He's going to be talking about crypto and investments. So we're going to be doing that for the evening. He's a graduate of the University of Miami with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. So, you know, support the U. Good documentary on Netflix if you haven't seen that. He's also founder of Renew. Founded that in 2013, and it's an omni-channel retailer. So he worked with Amazon there for a little while. Interesting story behind that. With Codebase, it's a fintech software development. He's a co-founder of that. He's also a member of EO. He joined in 2018. He's in the South Florida chapter, so he's also a fellow EOer. And he also started the My EO Investment Club, so opportunity for all of us to join that as well. It is the largest and fastest growing My EO group to date. So with that, I'll give you Chad. I'll let him get to his presentation.
All right, guys, thanks for having me. Talk on crypto. Let me get this working. So yeah, the My EO Investment Club, that's free to all EO members. I think it's now about 1,400 members. We started, I think it's 6 months ago now, and it became the largest My EO group in about 3 months. And so it's now, you have 1,500 members from all over the world in the Telegram chat. You post something about, you know, hey, I have a need in to buy real estate in Dubai, and all of a sudden somebody from the Dubai chapter writes back, oh, okay, let me show you. So it's become really useful. Let's see. It was working right until we needed it.
It was working.
That's how it always goes.
Technology.
There we go. All right, everyone, so what we're going to do is start with crypto for beginners, then we'll kind of scale up as we keep going. And at the end, any questions you have, just hit me with all of them, and we'll do it. So starting with the basics, what is crypto? I mean, I look at it as it's really fast money. So it's coming in, it's attempting to push out banking because it's a decentralized verification system. So basically, if you've ever heard of like Bitcoin mining or all these miners, what's happening is everybody's providing their computers to an ecosystem. And that allows, when a transaction takes place, verifications happen on computers all over the world. And it clicks into every computer to verify, let's say 30 times before approving the transaction. So instead of a bank, which is centralized, they approve in-house, you're now being approved externally throughout the world. And that's the whole idea behind why it's a faster system, and it's money of the people. So it's a medium of exchange just like the US dollar. And you know, we have come to accept the US dollar as the global currency, and this is something that's attempting to push it out. Not to say it will. One of the things, like, why does crypto have any value? Why does gold have value? At least we assign it value. We accept that it's worth something. So originally when Bitcoin was formed, it was pretty much worthless. But then it started getting brand recognition and building traction. And now we're at a point where, as you see, Bitcoin is selling, I think as of this morning, at 48,000 US dollars for every coin. So it's growing extremely quickly. Now, one of the things on Bitcoin, it's said to have higher value because there's a limited supply. You can't print it like the Fed is printing money right now. But the argument against that is you can keep breaking it down into fractions and fractions of the coin. And therefore, the one coin, yes, is going to be worth 50,000, but as a utility through the world is you keep breaking into smaller increments. And therefore, I have a problem with the limited supply argument because of the fact that you can just keep breaking down into smaller and smaller numbers. The current demand. So now you're seeing Wall Street finally move in. So everybody who was in this world before that happened, you have a wall of money coming in and pushing it up. And so there's a wealth shift that's happening like we've never seen in history. And it's happening now. And also, you may have seen in the news now, regulation is coming in. So that I see as a good thing. If regulation is coming in, now there's merit to that. There's merit that it actually is real. If the governments are scared of this overtaking, well, that makes you think, why? All right, does anybody know what this is? Yes. So, the fact that the world, all right, I was at breakfast this morning at the Hotel Indigo. I'm sitting there and I hear the three waitresses talking. And one of them is like, I bought Dogecoin at 7 cents. And I'm like, where am I? I'm sitting here working on amping up the presentation. And as I'm putting it, they're having this conversation. And she says, I also bought a bunch of AMC and I'm doing extremely well. So, in saying that, this is when we hit euphoria. So when you have euphoria is when you see massive markets reach a bubble point and burst. When you start sitting at a breakfast restaurant and hearing the waitresses talk about Dogecoin, you might be approaching euphoria. So now the thing about Dogecoin, it has brand recognition at this point. The whole world, not the whole world, a lot of people in this world know what this is because Elon Musk gave it merit. So if you look at it from a technical perspective, right? Okay, this is the chart for Dogecoin. All right, so we have Musk starting to talk about it right around here when it's at 7 cents. All of a sudden, we're getting to a point where now it's worth 70 cents. So you could have 10x'd if you just followed the fact that there was a bunch of hype and speculation, and that's what it was. He goes on SNL because everybody is hyping up that he's going to do a big release on it being, use this currency within Tesla. He doesn't. It goes the other way, and it crashes. So this is the speculation, and this is like what you'll see in speculations. But yet, to this day, people are still diehard Doge believers. So in saying that, this is now, so that was in May. From July to August, this is what's happened. It started to go up again. It's rising with the entire bull market that has restarted. So even though it was a speculation, what would happen if your company or product received global recognition tomorrow? If any of you in this room, imagine everybody, 70% of the world knew the name of your company, your revenue is going to go through the roof. This is what's happened with Doge. And now, it actually has merit to be something. So now it rose from 16 cents up to 33. So, could have doubled your money on it.
Does it actually have merit to be something though?
Purely because of the brand recognition. That's it. There's utility? No. There's no utility whatsoever. But it's been assigned a value by the name of it. I would not be having this in my portfolio. But it's interesting to see how once you get that global recognition, what can happen. Okay, so this is how a coin comes to be. The full cycle, I mean, it's actually very similar to starting a business and how this works. So first you write the code for a smart contract. And the smart contract is a bunch of code that defines how this coin works, how this project works. From that, you go into, and I'll get into each one of these in depth, liquidity pools. Then you have just typical marketing, social media channels, pushing the product, influencers. Then it goes into what's called an AMM. So it's an automated market maker. These are things like, they're called Uniswap, PancakeSwap. They're essentially currency exchanges. You then have staking, which we'll get into more depth as well. Then you have the main exchanges. And then you start seeing loan to asset value in loans on the coins themselves. So smart contract formation, that's just hiring a developer to build the code and launch it. That's step one. So liquidity pools. Again, the way I look at liquidity pools essentially is, let's say you have a team of 20 people, developers, entrepreneurs, they all say, okay, we're gonna create a pool around this new coin. And let's just call it coin ABC. So everybody puts in $10,000 into the pool. And therefore the value of the coin, say 10 people, $10,000, $100,000 market cap on this coin. Then they launch it and start matching it with, let me show you here, with coins that already have merit. So either US stable coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and by pairing these things, they're creating liquidity in the market. So here, like this is Uniswap, and this is one of the AMMs, automated market makers. And so these are just some pairings, and there's hundreds of thousands of pairings at this point in these pools. So when you look at a pool, if you go into it in depth, it'll show you the volume that's actually happening. You can see transactions that are occurring in and out of that pool. And it's all verified using the blockchain ecosystem. Every 5 minutes a transaction is occurring. So it's all about just saying, all right, this coin has value because I'm willing to assign an associated coin that already has brand recognition, already has value. Ethereum is established, I'm launching a new coin, I'm betting on it being worth money, and therefore I'm putting my Ethereum up against it as collateral. And if it takes off, I win. If not, I can lose all my Ethereum. So the next thing is marketing, right? You have to get that recognition on the coin. So social media, news releases, influencers, community chats, and like Telegram has really taken off in the crypto space. So you'll see like every coin has its own Telegram channel, and then when the marketing runs start, you start seeing people blasting new coins and going all through the ecosystem of Telegram channels and doing this and getting the brand out there. Okay, automated market makers, the swaps. So they're a class of decentralized exchanges that allow digital assets to be traded without permission and automatically by using liquidity pools. So these are the really big ones are Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, and Kurt. Now, the names are actually ridiculous, as you see, but the thing is, it's because we're dealing with people, developers, in their teens, early 20s, coming up with names for these exchanges. This is new money. This is the whole world. You look at the logos on these things. This one is a unicorn. This one is a pancake. This is a sushi roll. And this is money that is becoming, completely real in our economy. And it's almost laughable. So, on this topic...
Can we ask questions?
Yeah, go for it.
So, and I'm back in the newbie stage of all this and stuff, but I'm just curious about the marketing of new cryptocurrencies and what makes someone think that their cryptocurrency is better than the next one? What makes it unique? Why wouldn't everyone just go Bitcoin as the first?
Yeah.
Or,
So they sell a story, just like when you form a pitch deck to raise money for your company. So they're forming white papers. That's the new terminology in the crypto space.
what are some of the unique things that one would have?
So, like one of them right now that I have too much of does smart insurance contract risk. So it insures the risk of hacking, and so they're the coin for insurance. You're now seeing tokenized real estate, where the coin will represent something in the real estate world. You're seeing all different types of coins for exchanges, for moving money around, for purchasing coins. And then you have like the swaps themselves, they actually have coins. And then their utility is that they're a currency exchange. So you pretty much, any store you can sell and put a coin behind it, that's what we're seeing. And it kind of reminds me of the .com bubble, where anybody with the word computer in their name became valuable. And that's exactly what we're seeing again. We're under a new set of terms.
So I had a question kind of where Clay is on this. So is this all on the same ecosystem?
So there's a few ecosystems. The
Okay.
main one is Ethereum. And Ethereum is where the majority of the technology is built, which is why I'm like investing most of my portfolio into it. But there's new exchanges coming out. So you have Polkadot, which is another one where they're building onto it. You have Polygon, which is getting support from forget who, but I'll get back to you on who's powering Polygon and Matic, and that's another ecosystem. The guy from Shark Tank, Mark Cuban. So Mark Cuban is pushing Polygon and Matic as the new that ecosystem. And then that goes back to the marketing of it, right? He's an influencer now for that system and giving him merit. And then there's also the Binance Smart Chain, and that's a big marketplace now. And so there's a lot of money to be made in the market, and therefore you're seeing new ecosystems launched, but you have the first mover advantage. And Ethereum is there, it has the majority of the tech built on it.
So, can I ask a stupid question about liquidity? So if I create a coin,
Yeah.
walk me through the process. If I create a coin, like, how do I actually get money for that? How do I actually get money in my bank account for that?
So if you create a coin that has no utility whatsoever, and you're raising money without filing the SEC, you're violating SEC laws. And
Okay.
that has happened a lot.
Right.
So
That's what Ripple's. Right.
that's what Ripple. So I think once Ripple is finalized, that's going to set the tone for them to go after everybody else who violated. So I'm very curious to see what happens with Ripple, because they need that case. They need that case to then use as the backbone to attack everybody. So all these people are just creating their own coins and they're taking money off the table right now. They're violating future securities laws. So you have to use good common sense to not
So
do that.
if we do a token though, is that different because we're already?
So if you have a token that has a utility and it's not purely security, so let's say, like for one of my businesses, it's e-commerce. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a token that they could purchase on my platform and then use it to purchase the products. So it's a functional coin, and therefore it has utility in use. It's not just raising money, causing hype, and then creating the whole thing to spike and then pulling your money off the table. So if you have a coin that is essentially almost like stock in a company, then it's more of a utility. It's also a new space, right? So until laws are written, it's a fine line. And it's like if you try to find a crypto attorney, it's not a thing. So you can't consult with a crypto attorney because it's moving at such a fast rate that there's no such thing as a crypto attorney. Anybody who tells you they are one, they know maybe a little bit more than you. And so it's that's what happens when you disrupt industries completely. So on the next thing around liquidity pools, you have staking. So these large exchanges, what they do is if you, let's say you buy, so this is one of the, another ecosystem, Polkadot, where a lot of tech is being built. So if you own Polkadot, you then go ahead and stake it with, this market is Kraken. Kraken will pay you 12% yearly awards. So the reason that this is happening is that Polkadot, in order for the coin to actually go up in value, they need people to hold it and not just keep flipping it all the time. So if you hold it, they're paying you to hold it, and in interest, but interest within the coin itself. So you're just collecting more DOT on your DOT, and so they're fine with doing that because they're just giving you something they created out of thin air. But for them, it will increase the value of their coin over time. And if you believe in DOT as a project, then you're happy to earn your 12% because you're not going to get that rate in a bank. And so you'll see this on a lot of different platforms now, where you have this staking. And this is once again back to the concept of liquidity pools. You're adding liquidity to the pool by staking and holding your coin and not just selling it all the time. So after you make it through the AMMs, and then you can launch on the main exchanges. So these are some of the big names right now. Kraken just did another private raise because I think they're going to try and go public soon. Actually, it's an EO company called InvestX. He took on, I think he took on 75 million of the allocation to then sell for the pre-IPO shares in Kraken. Gate.io, I've heard really good things about. I don't use it myself. BlockFi, I do use myself. BlockFi is essentially doing conventional banking, but using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the main tokens as the asset that they hold as the collateral. And they'll loan to you in US dollars on your Bitcoin. And as long as you pay your loan, it's fine, you get your Bitcoin back. If you don't pay your loan back, they will go ahead and liquidate the Bitcoin in order to get their money. So I like their model. This is just classic banking with crypto as the asset. So I use BlockFi to just hold some of the main tokens that I want to hold, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even the USD stablecoins, because the USD stablecoins will pay you like 7.5% interest, and that you can convert right into US dollars whenever you want. And you have Celsius. They pay really high staking rewards, but the software itself is not user-friendly. But because they're paying higher rewards, you see a use in that. Binance is a large exchange. Coinbase just went IPO. FTX and SRM, those are also strong, and they're being powered by a token called Solana. And Solana is one of, if you go outside of the main coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana is a product I actually liked a lot. And if you look at what's happened to it, this is what's happened to it over the past month. So it went from $23 to $78. So it's gaining a lot of traction right now. But it's in a major bull run that normally when you see a run like this, it's not sustainable. So
Yeah, show that chart from the beginning.
so you're starting here at $2. And this is the life cycle, right? They got brand recognition. They got adopted by a major exchange. So in the beginning, right, this is the game. They're boosting it, jumps from 2 to 5, the founders get rich, they exit.
That's where I usually buy. Right there's where I see.
Then they're finding their footing. And then if you really speed it up. So I mean, this isn't even that, at least from my chart, because this is on TradingView. It doesn't
So what's the
necessarily.
time period here? So that's
This is August 2020.
So that's a year.
Yeah. Can you imagine going from 3 to 78 in a year? Yeah.
So does that have to do with the amount of people that are getting involved, and then is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, it's a buy opportunity.
Yeah. No, people and the fact that it's being supported by main exchanges now. And it's also being now, so what happens is when some of the big guys start taking it on, like Kraken has it, I think it's on here. Yeah, Kraken took it on, and they're paying 6.5%. So that's keeping it more stable. And also, the big exchange FTX is using it to power it. So they're using the tech. All of the non-Bitcoin, it's all tech. It's all speed money, technology of money, fast money, whatever you want to call it. And some of these alternatives to Bitcoin are just extremely strong ecosystems of technology that are being built by the best developers in the world. Because all the developers were now just united around, oh, we can get rich and code. And so the world found a way to kind of put them and focus them up. This is now what we're
Is it
seeing.
safe to say that if it's stakeable through one of the major platforms, it's likely starting to stabilize, and that's probably the time just if you want to invest, go ahead and buy then.
It might be safe to say that, yes, but every altcoin is super risky. Be ready, put in money that you're willing to lose. Let's just say that.
Are there any on this list you like right up here that are dots?
I was in DOT, I lost money on DOT, so not my favorite anymore. Solana, Solana is still strong. Cardano is still strong. I want to see if DOT comes back. You know, we can look at a chart on DOT too, because I do like the project, but it seems to have fallen out of favor based off of the price of the stock. And some of the guys who do loans, BlockFi, sort of spoke about. Celsius is doing something similar. Gemini. So we can do some of the rates that you'll see from BlockFi. USD 7.5%. And what's interesting is that you can get your interest paid in any of the coins they support. So I could put in $10,000 USD and get my interest paid in Ethereum if I just want to collect Ethereum. And that's a way to kind of collect some of these alternatives that you don't necessarily believe in full on, but you want to have some exposure to.
Those are guaranteed. So like, you're getting paid in crypto.
Yeah.
So you still have. This is my big question. I have, once you try to convert the crypto to dollars, this is mostly hearsay, but like the fees are ridiculous.
It depends on the exchange.
Okay, what's a good exchange that doesn't charge? Well, like, what's the lowest fee exchange you've ever heard of?
Kraken has been good, but
What do they charge if you're going to cash out?
I don't know it off the top of my head. You'd have to look.
Ballpark,
I think it's like 1%.
1%.
Yeah. It's around there.
Yeah.
But it's evolving all the time. And the big thing is when everything that was built on Ethereum at very high processing fees, because it's all about the network of computers and how fast it can move through. So they rebuilt the technology, and that's what the next thing is, Ethereum 2.0, just like any other software that releases another version. And the whole concept is they made the code better, therefore the exchanges will happen faster, and it's called gas fees will decrease.
Can you diversify your interest payment throughout all of them?
Not on that platform, but you can put it in different places and try and do that. And that's it is something that I do to collect a few different things.
But every time you enter and exit a coin, you have a gain, you're supposed to make capital gains on that, correct?
Supposed to, yeah.
Supposed to.
Yeah. So if you're making money, then
Ordinary income if you're trading.
yeah. I've never had an issue paying capital gains because it means I'm making money. There's profit there. On a big question normally around the security of this stuff, and
Are you whispering?
oh, the security of it and how to like not expose yourself too much to getting hacked, and because if you get hacked, you're not getting the money back. It's gone. So there's no suing them or finding the hacker. It's cyberspace. It's gone. So what I personally do, and I've heard this from a few other like major traders and people who have a lot in the space, just keep your money in a lot of different places, just like if you were hiding money. So keep a little bit on Kraken, keep a little bit on Coinbase, throw a little in BlockFi, maybe have a little bit in a couple wallets. put some in some cold storage, which means it's off the chain. You have essentially what is a USB device that contains your token codes and has that value because of that. And just hide your money in a bunch of places, so if the hackers come, they can't hit you all at once.
And I hope you don't forget your passwords.
I hope you don't forget your passwords.
If you do, can people crack them still? I mean, there's people that can crack the passwords.
Cracking.
No, I mean like crack the code of the password. Like if someone forgets the cracking, you can do it.
No, like break into an account.
Yeah, if someone forgot their password, like, wrote it down, forgot it.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend that did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Awesome. Forgot about it. Forgot his password.
Yeah. Don't forget your password.
Yeah, no, but if you do, I was sure we can find it. Done.
Done. There's a
Not a lot.
yeah, it's done. And they have a word phrase normally now. We have to write down a series of 20 words, write it down in a book. That way, if you have to recover it, you have to use that to actually recover access. People have forgotten their passwords and lost a lot of money. We spoke briefly already about crypto attorneys, and I thought on that. You know, I hope eventually there's somebody who really knows their stuff in the legal space. But
Phil said he's gonna do it.
Phil, do it.
He is an attorney.
Yes.
That's great. This is
He's a crypto attorney.
this is the business. This is your $1 billion business. When it comes to wallets, you know, I get asked that a lot. Exodus is good, but if you try to trade on Exodus and move the money out, it's very costly. So, personally, I don't even keep my money in wallets anymore. It's just on a bunch of exchanges because that's my diversity of not getting hacked. Trust Wallet is also good. And then MetaMask is popular on the swaps. You actually have to link it to in order to do the currency swaps. So you see that it's also not the best platform, but it's widely adopted. Okay, portfolio building and how to manage this. So on the management itself, I personally just use trading because you really can't, the exchanges aren't necessarily, not all of them are good at showing you what your profit and loss is on this stuff. So I just use TradingView because I use it for my stock trading too. And then I'll just have entry and exits so I can keep track of everything. And that's how I do it. There's also a site called CoinStats. And this you can actually do a portfolio tracker here. And you can log all your information. It's just a log, and it'll keep you knowing how much you've made or not. And then Blockfolio is now called FTX, which is actually a main exchange, which is being backed by Solana, the one I was talking about earlier. That's another way to manage it. All right, portfolio structuring. I'm curious what everybody thinks. How much of your net worth should be in crypto?
Gambling money?
Gambling money? Yeah.
Depends your age, depends a lot of things.
There's a lot. So, I mean, I know people are 90% exposed because they
What?
fully believe in this as the next big thing. Yeah. It's, I won't put more than 10%. Yeah,
10%.
it's 10%. I mean, it's an asset at this point. It does have merit to put in 10%. But yeah, that's it. But one of the interesting thoughts around this is, especially because we're all taking payments in all our businesses in some way, shape, or form, start accepting payment in the form of Bitcoin or Ethereum, and you're in it at a much lower cost because you're making the difference on your margin, and collect a little bit of a couple things. So, and that can help you build your portfolio larger and more diverse. But still, I'm 10%. That's it for now. Okay, so like, I just want to talk about the two main ones, because if you're new to this, don't mess with all the alternative coins. They're just high risk, very speculative. You really have no idea which ones are actually going to gain traction. But these two have gained traction. I really don't see either of them going anywhere. So if we look at Ethereum, so Bitcoin is essentially the gold of the cryptocurrency space. So you think of it like that. It's the main one. It controls the market. The market moves with it. So obviously it'd be nice to buy it around here, around $1,000. We're no longer in that world. It did hit a top over here in April, around 64,000. Therefore, it is still selling at a discount at 50,000.
And how much
Yeah.
was it 3 weeks ago?
We dropped. Yeah, we dropped around 30,000. Yeah. So yeah, it's I'm a momentum trader, so I'm just trying to catch the swings on this. For the most part, I'm not holding it. I'm just in and out as much as possible. But it's
You don't hold any of it?
no, just all speculation to me, and therefore I don't hold any of it.
Now, like that, I understand.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Are you day trading?
If you're
Yeah.
trading it,
Day trading.
Are you
you're
doing
trading
bonds?
it like it's a slot machine.
Yeah. But it moves fast,
Yeah.
and it's very volatile. So if you're a trader,
Like
this
how long?
is,
Like do you like? That's a great question. Do you day trade it or?
yeah. I mean, at first I was day trading it, and I have a couple of good friends who do leverage trading on it, which is like crazy. These guys are making
Yeah, that's
500%.
really smart.
Oh yeah, and so they're killing it.
100x.
You're gonna be great at
There's a video on my site you can watch. So this guy, Bitcoin Jay, he day trades, and his most recent, he caught this full swing. So he made like 600% on his money and whatever he put in there. And he's very controlled. So he'll start taking profits off the table as you move into it, right up the ladder, because you don't know when it's just gonna drop. And so you have to have a rule set in trading. I'm very strict on it. So that's the only way you're gonna be successful with it. So the thing is, in the long term, Bitcoin it could move to 100,000. We don't know, but that's what means you're gonna double your money. We can do that in the stock market if we're really lucky.
Can you buy options on these swings?
Yeah, internationally. So, so yeah, just not in the U.S. currently. So
Does
So
it buy?
wait,
Is that the
wait.
Binance?
yeah, Binance will restrict. They won't. If you try to, you have to access an international exchange.
Just the VPN?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it's working. And there's another one called Bybit, which is apparently decent.
How much time a day do you spend, like when you're got positions in? How much time a day do you spend watching it and
30 minutes.
trading?
30 minutes. 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's it. And yeah. Yeah, so but I'm reading a lot on finance all the time. And so, I mean, I'm trading crypto just like I trade stocks. It's all the same to me. So, I mean, this is my list that I go through every morning, and some of them I have positions in right now, some of them I don't. And I'm still running the businesses at the same time. So
Yeah,
it's,
that was my question.
yeah, it's a balance. But, years ago, I made the decision that if one of my businesses does extremely well and it's making a lot of money, am I gonna go then hire a wealth manager to manage my money for me? Because that's against being an entrepreneur in a way. I can't see myself doing that. I need to control my own money and understand it at that level. That's what's brought me success in my business. And so I devoted a lot of my time to learning how to do all this. And therefore I'm getting better returns than I could ever get with a 401k or a wealth management company or anything like that. So Ethereum, on the other hand, yes, it has risen a lot, but it's the technology platform that everything is being built on. So I believe in it more than Bitcoin in how high it can go. And it's not 50,000 yet, it's 3,000. So is 10,000 out of reach? Maybe not. But you have to be ready to lose on all this stuff. So in and out again. I was literally thinking about jumping in again tomorrow. It just ran up at a crazy rate from 1,700 to 3,200 very quickly with no breaks really. It broke a resistance line here that I had made. If it breaks out over 3,300, I could see another run happening, and I'll be jumping in as soon as it breaks out. So right now we're at 32.47. If we can hold over 3,300, I'm probably gonna throw some into it. And then if you want to see some of these, so the swaps are interesting right now. They're still trading about 50% of what they were. And what happens is when you get these big bull runs, you start seeing all the activity on the swaps again. You start seeing new coins being launched again. You start seeing all these new projects, and they start getting traction again as market makers. And therefore you can see them go through big swings. So I was probably going to enter all these tomorrow. Just take it, spread it across my 5 favorites. So Uniswap, Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, CRV, and Balancer. Just see what happens over the next 20-30 days.
Is there any kind of insider information in this industry? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Like, are there systems down?
That's the other
Are they,
thing.
you know?
That's the other thing. Is like, so Elon decides to say something nice about my coins.
Watch his tweets.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like that's part of what makes this like so scary. So like Mark Cuban decides to back a new thing, and then
Right.
all of a sudden that's the thing.
I don't know, is it any different though?
Did you guys see the Floyd Mayweather fight? He was wearing Ethereum Max was his sponsor,
Yeah.
and the guy he was fighting was wearing another coin. That was their sponsor. So those coins both did well during the fight. And it's yeah, I mean that's what's happening. It's influencers that are pushing the market.
Psychology there.
So Chad, have you tracked your rate of return net of fee and tax?
On crypto,
Yeah, your sort of overall portfolio last 12 months.
Yeah.
Net of fee and tax.
my realized gain last year was 40%.
40%?
Yeah,
Net of fee and tax.
not net of fee and tax. But last year was also just, I bought everything in March. Like, I saw a fire sale, and I went crazy. So, I still haven't sold off a lot of the stuff that I gathered. So, what I did is when I bought in March, once everything once a lot of the projects, both in the crypto and in the stock market, once I had 100% return, I pulled my principal off the table on all of them because I had no idea where this market was going. And I just let my profit ride completely. My best, I shouldn't say because it's pure luck that it happened, honestly. My best trade was Novonix. So, altogether, myself and I had my family do it too. I think we bought like a couple 100,000 shares of this. One day before the Tesla battery conference, because I was kind of looking online and I saw that there was hype around a certain company that was going to be released in the conference called Novonix, which is a battery manufacturer in Australia. So 2 days before the conference, I thought the next morning it was going to open on the US market and just blow up based off of just full distribution of these articles that Elon Musk is going to announce this company as a partner. So I called the Australian exchange and we bought so it was over a couple 100,000 shares. The next morning we paid $1.30. The next morning the stock goes $2.50, $3.50, $4.50. It's $5 and we've made a fortune on paper. And it just starts to tank. So I call everybody and I'm like, pull your principal, let the profit ride. Once we pulled out, I think it was like $2.80. And then we just let the profit ride until here, 5-6 days ago. I sold it all. So now, because I'm playing with house money, as soon as this thing drops bounded out with $2, I'm going in again. Maybe with 50% of what I took out, maybe 25%. I move in very incrementally when I take positions, and so.
But that's not crypto, right?
This is not crypto.
stock
This is just a stock.
Okay.
But if you trade everything similarly, in that, especially with this is speculation. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
So I made money because it was a speculation, and I caught the news cycle right. crypto is all speculation and news cycles. That's what boosts these coins.
Right.
So if you catch them right and just don't be greedy and like trying to make 500%, pull your principal, let your profit stay in the market.
That's how to play blackjack, right?
Right. Well, this is blackjack, digital blackjack. So yeah, it's
So
don't
why
put-
do you do this?
I mean, it's kind of fun.
It's fun. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of a game. I mean, it's like my biggest positions are in gold miners because I like reading financial history and seeing what happens in high inflation environments. And if you look at the entire market right now, commodities are the relatively cheapest asset out there, and gold miners are selling at it's like 5 times price to earnings ratios. Where if you look at Apple, it's like 40 times price to earning ratios. So it just seems like a good deal. It's the simple thing: you buy low, sell high. You know, we do it in business. Why not do it in the markets? And so, yeah, it's like if you join my channel and stuff, you'll see me posting about crypto sometimes, but it's a lot of gold, silver, commodities. Oil did very well this round. I know it's big in Tulsa. So yeah, it's just everything.
Have you ever studied the efficient market hypothesis?
Not specifically or in depth, but want to give you a rundown on it real quick?
It's just the idea that it's an efficient market if you diversify and invest across a large portfolio and time.
Yep.
You're going to make a 12-15% return, and you don't have to day trade.
Right.
Much more efficient, tax efficient, and fee efficient.
Yeah. I like
It's the opposite of day trading.
Yeah, it is.
It's watching paint dry.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Yeah.
Because I don't think it's paid right
Cracking.
Yeah, like with gold, for example, that's more the long-term efficient market type thought, and just buying it at the right price and holding it for years to come. So let's see. I think this is one. Let's see which one I took a bunch at. So I don't know where the bottom is always, right? I mean, you just can't predict. So let's say I want to have a $10,000 position in this stock. I'll just buy it 1,000 at a time. And when it starts to turn up, maybe I'll buy a little more, maybe I'll wait for a correction again. But predicting price is almost impossible. And therefore, once you feel the price is fair, that's when I start moving into something.
So I have a question about Bitcoin. Actually, we were talking about this in the car earlier. Because they actually made it limited, I'm wondering, this is my thought, psychology stuff, but because there's only going to be so much of it, that anyone who's invested is going to make sure that it doesn't fail. Because
Yes.
there's only so much.
But it's also infinitely divisible by itself.
That's true.
And that's the other side of it.
That's like civilization, like, you know.
But
So
that's the way
it's-
they print money.
Well, and that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
know, like that, you know, the mentality behind it, like the fact that you.
Yeah. So, I mean, people who are Bitcoin people, they're diehard. I mean, because they made so much, they're
That's where I was going, yeah.
yeah, they're gonna go until the end. Even if it goes to zero, they're gonna
Exactly.
ride and die on that.
Mhm.
But you know, will it be around in 10 years? I don't know. Maybe it'll be something. Maybe Dogecoin. Maybe that'll take over as the world currency. You know, we don't really know. So I go with what I've always done in my businesses too. It's software, it's technology. Where are all the developers working? Where are the people putting their time? And that's Ethereum. So I think that has more of a chance.
So would it be an analogy would Ethereum be the same as like the Visa network? It's like the infrastructure to trade the coins.
I
Is
think
that a good analogy?
I think Ethereum is the internet of money. That's the comparison.
Web3.
But it's way more than just, I mean, the coin is just like a tiny part of it.
Right.
I mean, they have.
The amount of code that's written on that platform.
Did they really fix the gas fees and all the problems with Ethereum 2.0?
they're cleaning up the code and making it faster. They have massive teams of developers working on it. Smart people trying to fix a problem, and a lot of them.
So who's the contender that's doing the third version of that that's going to come out and take Ethereum out?
Right, let's invest in them now. And that's the question. So, is Polkadot going to try and do that? You know, is Solana going to try and do that? Is it going to be any of these that try to come in and knock them out? But it's unknown. There's too many projects to really know. Even Avalanche just, I know the head of business development for Avalanche, and
Is that your line? Where's your, is that your line
That's
down
where
there?
Phil's buying.
My signal. I don't fall for that.
I'm
whole
definitely
line
kicking
on the
myself a
sell
little bit
line.
on this one because I've literally had pitch calls with the team that works there, and I know the head of biz dev, and I didn't buy enough of it, so and yeah, it just went crazy over the past week.
Could you go back to the liquidity pool concept?
Sure.
Is that, help me understand that, is that essentially like backing the coin?
Yeah, we're all putting money into a pool. We're not taking it out, and we believe in it so much that we're willing to put our money at risk. So if the coin goes up in value, it's good. We make money. If the coin goes to zero, we lose everything in the pool. The pool goes to zero. So it's something called impermanent loss, and a certain percentage is getting lost all the time. And so the pool, and also the risk with the pool, is if, let's say you have 10 founders and they all put money in the pool, and one of them just decides to pull out, and he just stole from his other 9 teammates.
Kind of democratic.
Yeah, it's happens a lot, and so
No, I mean not leaving, but the fact that everyone's trusting.
they have to trust. But I mean, there's ways
Well,
around
they
that. You
pull-
can lock
if
the
they pull out,
pools.
don't they have, like, they, I mean, you can't just like pull out your stake, right?
You
have to-
can't. If you're smart, you lock everybody in. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't lock the
That's why you
wallets.
can hire me to be Bitcoin lawyer.
Is that what
I don't know, so
together? That apps put together? They,
Pull together.
yeah, it's kind of like they like gamified.
Oh, they have. Yeah.
They recently sold. There's a startup that they
Yeah. I know. I don't know. I know Balancer and Uniswap, like the MMA, the AMMs. They are they're big on liquidity pools.
And did you say the liquidity pool's backed by one of the,
So like if we look at
so we put in our 100K to start the coin.
yeah
Then it's gotta be attached to Ethereum or something.
a stable something that's stable in some way.
Well, but it's not a it's a token at that point. It's a total block in Ethereum, so it's a token. It's not a coin, right?
Yeah.
Or is it a coin?
You have the tokens. I mean, token or coin. It's
Because I thought a token was there was an Ethereum or Cardano platform, and you made your own business model on that platform, and that's a token. The coin is you're going to create your own blockchain.
It's like stock, right? I mean, it's like stock in a company.
that's what it's
So
like.
you know, there's
Show contribution.
the coin is worth, you know, the whole like pool is worth X amount of money, and whatever coins come out of it are worth that pool of money. And then if the coin value rises because other people want it, then that's one path. If it's going down, and I go like, I want out, like you can't just pull your original investment, right? You pull out whatever the value of the coin is
At that time.
At the time you leave.
Yeah.
So, okay, well that makes sense.
The token. I look at a token as more of having utility, and a coin is more of security. But essentially they're the same thing in regards to like being on the exchange. It's more of the function of it that makes it different.
So I have a question. I've accidentally stumbled on some reading about the environment, you know, like the water and how much it takes to cool and
Yeah.
how they're storing and how they,
Environmental impact.
I mean, it's mind-boggling actually, and I'm sure they're probably already figuring it out. But I'm wondering how much of that chatter goes on behind the pricing, you know, the value.
It's chatter, and that's all it is in the background. there's a lot of things in this world that are way worse for the environment than cryptocurrency.
No, I mean, the articles I read are they're very convincing that it's actually, they're
Yeah.
already finding ways to make it a positive on the environment.
Mhm.
But the impact, I'm wondering what the impact it's gonna have when the media really starts
The media
talking.
can push these things. It pushes these markets, always, and that's why I trade the momentum of it. When you start seeing a lot of like bad Bitcoin news, it's it could be, my thoughts are that Wall Street wants a better price, and so they start pushing the news to crush the market. They buy up, and that's the transfer from retail to Wall Street right there.
Wow, yeah.
And that's how markets are moved. It's money controlling money, and that's why you hear everybody, the term HODL became a thing, which is hold or hodl, because that's also why this Reddit thing blew up with GameStop and AMC. It's people being aware of the manipulation of the whole thing.
Well, and I wanted to know your personal opinion on the environmental impact.
Of crypto, yeah, I'm not really concerned about it being that big of an
That's good
impact.
to know. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm not that.
Those computers would all be playing like video games.
Fortnite.
Exactly, if they weren't mining Bitcoin.
I mean, the whole thing around carbon credits now, under the new green bill, is I'm investing a lot in carbon credit companies right now because I think the value of carbon credits is going to skyrocket. As
What,
it's gonna,
what kind of companies?
carbon credits.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh, how they're taking the full
Yeah.
areas and.
Yeah, that's
And under the regulation, companies are gonna have emissions requirements, and they're gonna need to. They're not gonna necessarily be changing the way they operate, but they're gonna have to go onto the market and buy credits from somebody to counteract their financial statements. So, based off of that, these guys in carbon credits space are gonna be going up in value. There's something called I have it in my watch list. So this one, I have a crazy price in, and I'm just trying to get it filled. Let's see where it is. It's a carbon credit royalty company.
What?
So basically, they're providing financing to all of these companies in the carbon credit space, and they get paid a royalty on the profits. And therefore, it's like exposure to 100 companies in the space at once. So let's see the symbol. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is it. It's called Carbon Streaming Corporation. It's just trading on the bulletin board right now, so it's not on NASDAQ. Once it goes on the NASDAQ, I see this thing lifting. So I'm a buyer at. I started to put my orders in here when it was $1.50 for $1 because I thought it was still going down. It went up to $3, so you would have doubled your money right there if you had bought in. But I still have just crazy orders in. At $1, I'm taking a massive position. At 75 cents, I'm taking another massive position at 50 cents, and I'm holding this for 10 years. I mean, this is just one of those that sits in my
Why are you
portfolio.
holding that?
Because this is renewable energy and all the regulation that's coming in the green space, and the future I see as this for sure. And so
This is basically anyone that's in fossil fuels is gonna have to pay this company to stay in business.
yeah, so this is an investment. This is not a speculation, and I treat it differently. And I treat it as an investment. I put my money in and I leave it. And
So with the environment again, because the environment's such a shit show right now.
Yeah.
Like I was reading I know I'm reading an article, but like they were mining and it heated up a lake by 7 degrees, and it was killing there's algae and are there going to be lawsuits? And if so, who are they going to go after for that kind of environmental damage?
you would think the company that contributed to that, but you would hope they would go after them.
Right, I'm just speculating
Right.
on future unexpected.
Hopefully they can't just go buy carbon credits and counteract that they just caused the disaster, but we'll see.
Right.
Phil, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take this.
Yeah. So we got some environmental issues.
Yeah.
So,
What are the second order effects?
Yeah.
unforeseen, pissed off people with lake houses.
Yeah.
They're with money. people who have power and money and blood. Like, I don't know.
Our actual lawyers.
Yeah. Well, they can come in and make it a
Like
protected
Martha's Vineyard,
environment.
like,
But from the making money on the whole thought process.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we can save the world in doing that, but
It
it's nice.
sounds like everyone's right now has the right idea.
Yeah.
They're really working on it.
So can we go back to the blockchain itself? So is that just a code base that anybody has access to? Like, help me understand what is the blockchain?
Yeah, it's a massive ecosystem of code and technology. It's just the simple thought I always say is it's the internet of money. You know, the way the World Wide Web is built, apply that to the banking financial asset world, and that's what blockchain is.
Bitcoin's built on that, Ethereum's built on that, everything's built on that. That's the infrastructure.
Blockchain. Yep.
That's like open source.
It's not all of it is open source. Depends on the project, but it's
I think it's
Each coin
think
has
of like
its own
AWS.
blockchain ecosystem.
Think what?
Think of AWS more like a node network.
Okay.
Like if Amazon was just like every single person that has a computer can participate in this massive server.
But isn't Ethereum's an open network, I think, or, I mean, it's, you know, like you can, cause I think if you build on it, you have to agree that other people can take your code and build a new app with your code. Like, I don't think you can, like, protect code from one project to the next.
Well, is it blockchain's its own, or Bitcoin's its own blockchain?
Yeah, it's a separate blockchain.
Ethereum is its own
But I think
blockchain.
Ethereum though is like open source.
That's like a
Right, but you gotta use that chain, the
Yeah,
blockchain
right. Yeah, that's
infrastructure,
right.
just Ethereum did.
You have to build it inside that ecosystem.
Yeah.
and Binance is its own chain as well.
So when do you think it'll get hacked?
These things get hacked all the time.
I mean, can't they copy and follow and act like they're a chain?
You can rebuild anything. It's going to take a long time to code all that again and re-engineer it. It's probably easier just to know what you're doing and build it yourself and try to.
Well, they have forks, right? Because that's another.
Yeah,
You'll have
fork
a
the
fork
code.
off of.
Yeah.
I think there's like forks of Ethereum.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea is that they want it that way. They
Yeah.
want everybody to be aligned to build tech faster without trying to beat each other up, which is how we advance as a society. So this is just another step in the evolution of people moving forwards.
All right. So when do I get to launch a rocket into space?
Call Elon Musk. And he seems to be pushing it forward. And now you got Blue Origin, with
Yeah.
Bezos trying to hit it. I figured we had time we did this. We already kind of hit altcoins. NFTs, anybody familiar with those? So that is the art world now. Basically using crypto instead of a certificate of authenticity. I'm calling it an NFT. Then you have so yield farming. So yield farming is when these liquidity pools that we spoke about exist, and now you as an outsider are putting your money into the pool, and therefore continuing to help the value of that coin establish. And by doing that, you're collecting a yield. So I'm going into a pool for a new token called, token XYZ, and I am taking Ethereum and I'm putting it in the pool. And by doing it, XYZ is paying me 100% interest in the form of XYZ. Now, if XYZ is worthless, then I have done nothing. I don't get anything. But if XYZ becomes something, then whatever I collected has value. So
if it
that is the
becomes
world.
Worthless, you lose your Ethereum too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you don't pull it out fast enough. So you can actually put it in the pool, leave it for 7 days, collect some sort of crazy interest rate, maybe it's 10,000%, and you see stuff like that, then pull out quickly. But having enough time to look at that constantly, knowing when to pull out before it just completely collapses, it's really hard. Really hard to time. I know somebody who does it full time, they're making a lot of money, but it's a full-time job, and you can lose everything. we spoke about accepting cryptocurrency as payment, in your businesses. I'm trying to do that right now. I'm working with a couple companies to get that established. And
Yeah,
then
that's interesting to me. Like, do you get paid in crypto?
I'm trying to get paid in crypto.
No, like no one has paid you yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I don't have the system set up to take it in, but I'm working on it.
If you did, do you think people would actually pay you in crypto?
Yes. Yes, in the e-commerce world,
Yeah.
because I'm appealing to a large audience, and then yes on the investment club, because
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
That poses a question. So, just with a lot of research you're doing, is there a market or maybe a vertical for like a WordPress plugin or a Shopify plugin to enable e-commerce platforms to accept crypto?
Definitely. Oh yeah.
He's getting ready to make some money on it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's being worked on. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, massive business
Create
opportunity.
a WordPress plugin. So,
And then utility
you should
tokens.
said that out loudly.
I should.
Well, you're the only one who can't really.
He's getting married, you might be a little distracted.
So on, you said using cryptocurrency as payments, but it's pretty antiquated about sending out a bill, checking the mail,
Yeah.
depositing, all those sort of stuff. But not using cryptocurrency as the payment, but using the blockchain technology to send an invoice and getting paid, or is that on a different level than just basically just using, forgot what it's called, through just the banking system? Or
Yeah, I mean, with NFTs, as like the certificates, you essentially could, but it's, I don't know if that's really, I'm sure it's being explored by somebody at this point. I don't know of any projects off the top of my head. So like, in the space of NFTs, I'm in a startup with an EO Greece guy, and his family business for 70 years is cargo ship repairs for large cargo freighters. And he says in the parts business of that and getting repairs done, and also just in the shipping trade, the amount of certificates and verifications and paperwork that needs to be signed throughout the entire process is beyond me. And so he just wants to digitize it all and then use NFTs and crypto as the certificates to speed up the whole process. That was what we were pitching to Avalanche Labs. And
So like instead of getting a notary.
yeah, it's just the fast version. So it's thinking of how you can apply this to your business, right? What areas can you speed up through the use of the smart contract system? I also heard of blood banks. They're going to be using it to do verification in like that this blood came from this person and it's been tested for these diseases and it's approved for this. So it's just speeding up that cycle. And that's utility tokens, right? That's what utility can you take the technology itself, not thinking about the fact that it's a big speculative market, and apply it to what you're currently doing.
So like chain of custody of anything.
Chain of custody. Yeah.
So will it get down to the, like a SKU?
Yep.
Skewed, no, fake.
Why not? I don't know. Is it faster, is it easier? I don't know.
Well, it depends. If it's like, when you say SKU,
Yeah.
a unique SKU that belongs to this one individual thing, which could be an NFT.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah. Definitely.
not? If it's faster and easier, I don't know. I don't have a system. I just spray it.
Yeah.
So can I store my health records?
Yeah. So let's get our birth certificates in this system, right? Get the U.S. government to take social security numbers and put it in the system.
Can we do that now?
If they adopt
No,
it.
I mean, like, could I put my stuff in an NFT just for my,
For
instead
now,
of like putting it in a fire safe?
for now, the heavy use is in art. That's what we're seeing. Nothing else is really. I mean, I'm sure everything's being worked on, but
is that just because of the cost to establish it and maintain it and manage it, or?
no, NFTs are really inexpensive to mint. It's not a lot. It's essentially just a simple little contract that you build. I think Last quote I got was like $3,000 to build one. That's it, so it's not bad at all. Okay, so here's an NFT example. So a friend of mine, Dana, just launched this. This is art, digital art. And it's launched on one of these large NFT platforms. And there's maybe 10, I don't know, there's probably 100 of these things now. This is a large one called OpenSea. So this is digital art, it goes up for auction. And it's getting offers. And all of a sudden this art, which was created out of thin air, sold for $31,000. Because this market is in such a hype and euphoria that this is happening.
But the guy's bidding against himself, isn't he?
What was that?
Go down. Isn't the guy, isn't the bidder bidding against himself?
I heard it's where rich people are storing their money.
It's the same
They're
dude.
buying it.
Yeah, I don't know the history thing and how it works in this site, but the winning bid was this.
It's the same guy's bidding.
Yeah, it looks like it. This was the winning bid though. It's 10 Ethereum, which at that time was about 31,000.
So the dude built that, put it on an NFT, OpenSea, paid $31,000 for dog quarters.
31,000.
And so now I can pay $31,000 and I can have this meme or the whatever rotating around my, and I'm the only one that can have that, so that's worth $31,000.
Yeah.
The only problem.
Apparently.
Struggle with it.
Yep.
Struggle with it. I know what it is. I haven't like dug into it.
So this is the last one I have. This just shows yield farming. So what's happening is they pop up these, the coders are popping up these things just all the time. They're really just Ponzi schemes, most of them. There's a few that have merit. And so you're adding liquidity to the pool, they're paying you out on their token. They have every single interface looks the same. They all look like this, different graphics, whatever. And it's like pump and dump schemes. So if you get out fast enough, you make a bunch of money. If not, you lose. And you'll see what deposit and earn, right? Farms and staking. It's called yield farming. And one after another, they're launching every day. Just 4, 5, 10 every day, maybe more.
They're just pump and dump, taking new crap coins and pump
That's it.
them and.
So here's this coin, Saviki. Match your Binance, put some Binance in our pool, and we'll pay you 107,000% in the form of Saviki. And so the people I know who are doing this, they're really fast. They're in for like 48 hours to pull out. They do a quick convert. They convert the Saviki to USD as quickly as possible, and then they go again and they go again. I mean, I don't see this as sustainable or any way to make money. So I did try it like 4 times just because I want to know how it works. First one I made like 200%. The next one I lost all of it. So guess that's it. That's a little bit on crypto. If anybody has any more questions, we can just go at it. Or we can just call it close. Well guys, thanks for having me out here to talk about this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
How long
So-
you doing this?
What was that?